Jujutsu Kaisen episode 7 dropped, and it was good, but it was not a banger like when Maki killed the whole Zenin family. In this episode, Yuji and Megumi go over the plan with Hikaru and Panda about adding a new rule of transferring points between players and then adding another one of paying points to leave the culling game. And just as they were talking about adding the new rule was actually being added, which shows the name, the points and the colony to which each player belongs. This kinda stupid idea really helps our protagonists because now they know which players they need to target to get the points to add their own rules. So they localize the two players with the most points, they go to Tokyo District 1, and in this part we get a small taste of Yuji's power, and there is a little bit of fighting between Yuji and the Jet Girl and the Helicopter Man, and they actually choose new players who arrive in the district and Yuji defeats them. And while all of this is happening, Megumi is just raising a new girl. For me, the episode was really animation wise, it was perfect, as always. Mappa is delivering, but content wise I think it was A tier. Sentenced to be a Hero episode 6, the dark horse of the winter anime, comes back with another banger animation and storytelling. The story, as always, is slower than Rent-a-Girlfriend relationship progression, but it compensates with stunning visual as always. I think Studio Kai is really cooking. So regarding the plot, most of the episode takes place with the defending of the castle. Xylo fights a new demon lord, which he successfully defeats with Theorita, as she crafts a super holy sword, and Xylo nearly dies, but is saved at last moment. On the other hand, in the dungeons, Tatsuya goes brr left and right, while Tsav, the new joiner of the hero party, is basically carrying most of the fight defending the fortress, and also helps Xylo when he's fighting the remainings of the demon lord. And somehow thanks to that they defend actually the fortress. What is actually the most interesting part is when Xylo wakes up in the hospital and he's visited by some strange figure with another priest or whatever that warns him from the coexisters, so people who wants to coexist with the fairies or with the blight. And then of course we see Theorita arriving after that, and Xylo gets his PTSD. My ranking for this episode will be definitely A tier. There was a lot of fighting, a lot of cool animation, there was a lot of cool moments, but again the story is not progressing as always. It's very slow. Hopefully we get a glimpse next week. Frieren episode 5 starts very slow. It's kinda looking like a filler, where Frieren is basically reunited with a dwarf called Fass, who is searching for the fabled alcohol called Boshaft. What is actually funny is a flashback where Heiter wants to drink this alcohol because it said it's super crazy good, it's one of the best in the world, and this flashback is basically showing how Heiter wants to drink it, but Frieren doesn't really want to go there, doesn't really let him drink it, and she's also very reluctant to help Fass as well, getting their hands on the Boshaft. But later it was revealed that Frieren was aware the Boshaft is not tasting very good, it's actually pretty bad, and she didn't want to disappoint Heiter, and she didn't want to disappoint Fass as well. But then again we go back to the flashback with Heiter, where she's asking him what would happen if you would find out that Boshaft is not that good tasting, and he said that it doesn't really matter because I will be there with my friends, and that's basically the main point. The second part of the episode is also kinda looking like a filler, but it was slightly more interesting, and we are told that Frieren owns a large amount of money to the Northern Plateau IRS, and she needs to work in the mine for 300 years to pay off this debt. And let me tell you, she was a corporate slave before it was cool. Then she's taken by some dangerously looking man into the mine, and then we get to know that IRS just needs the money to rebuild destroyed villages and roads by the monsters, and asks Frieren to find some silver in the mine, which she then helps them because they really need the money, and she would be basically pardoned for the debt she has. And then after finishing her slaving duty, which didn't take 300 years but let's say one day, the adventure continues. And I would say on Frieren terms this was really a B tier episode because story didn't really progress. I would say there was like, you know, a couple of flashbacks. Oshinoko, the king of anime openings and endings, is coming back with another episode from the show business. This time Akane played the role of Sherlock Holmes and accidentally found out who is Aqua's real dad and did some digging around. Aqua's internal struggle and fight continues, and Akane shows really why she's really the best girlfriend under the sun. But the main focus of this episode is not really Aqua and Akane, but is actually Kana. And it's showing her struggle not only at work, but with her feelings towards Aqua as well. She gets invited to a night out / dinner with a promising rising director, and she sees this as an opportunity to get a leading role and get back to the acting world. What happens next after the dinner is that the director takes her to his place, or I mean to his studio, and tries to take advantage of her. Oh no, what a surprise! Who would have expected that? But honestly, he was pretty kind. He was okay with her rejecting his offer, and she burst in tears because she said that she's in love with, or I mean, she likes someone else, and he was okay with it. He even listened to her, so I think it ended pretty well. What didn't end pretty well is actually the ending of the episode, where Kana is basically outside of the director's studio, and the photographer starts doing photos of her, and this will most likely be an issue. Overall, I would say the episode was B tier, but I like how we delved deeper into Kana's feelings and how she's feeling currently. So, and the ending was pretty interesting. So I would say B tier, but for me it's actually A tier. Another Hell's Paradise episode dropped, and Mappa is proving that having two top tier anime airing at the same time is no issue for them. The episode was absolutely awesome. We see the survivors on the island meet with the respective Tensen, and we see that the matchups are in favor of the survivors, except Gabimaru, who is paired against a water tower user while he is a fire user. Luckily he has Yuzuriha, who is an earth user, so they have a plan. The fighting is absolutely perfect, the story is moving, and I love how the Tensen look when they transform. Not to mention the music and the whole atmosphere of the episode was absolutely great. I was sitting in my chair waiting for what happens next, so for me this was absolutely great. And so in this episode the fight started between the Tensen and Gabimaru, Yuzuriha and the other guys from the group. And what looked like a one fight kinda, like Gabimaru had all these plans how to beat Tensen, in the end ended with the Tensen changing form to their kinda like level up, like Super Saiyan form, and then we see Gabimaru receiving a devastating blow and being squashed on the wall like a fly. But I also appreciate Yuzuriha, who always thinks about her life. She, even in a flashback, she said that she only thinks about her surviving. She actually tried to save Gabimaru. And the episode ends with Gabimaru having a flashback how he wants to meet his wife, and then he's just laying on the ground looking kinda dead. Yeah, the irony. Yeah, the cliffhanger is absolutely crazy, so I'm really want to see what happens next week. And I think honestly the episode was absolutely perfect. I think it was S tier, and I think it's the only S tier for this week. I don't think the other episodes can really match against this story wise, animation wise, and really it was really perfect. And overall I think the whole week was pretty good. I think some of the episodes were a bit slow, but we saw Sentence to be a Hero delivering again, and Hell's Paradise is showing that Mappa is not 100% focused on Jujutsu Kaisen, but we see they are investing into Hell's Paradise as well. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like or subscribe, and let's see each other on next week's weekly summary.